All right, welcome back everyone to another episode of Gotta Be Legend Live, Gotta Be Legend TV here on YouTube. And of course, this is a gamer's opinion, right? A show that we have that we normally have right every week, but due to the events of end of the year, right? We had taken a hiatus, but we're back tonight. So of course, this is episode 12, right, of a gamer's opinion. And today is going to be a special episode because we're just going to talk about one topic, the only topic that has actually mattered today, right? Or actually this past few days, right? The past few days, and that is, of course, the topic of Microsoft, right, acquiring Activision Blizzard. Something that happened, of course, this past Tuesday, right? Tuesday the 18th, and it's a topic and news that has taken the world by storm, the gaming industry by storm. So today we're just going to go ahead and talk about that, right? So we're going to go ahead and link up with our friend Sephra. He should already be in the chat. Let me just go ahead and see if he's there. Sephra, are you there?
Hey man, what's up?
What's up, bro?
Are we live?
We're live, bro. We're live, man.
That's cool.
What's up, man? How do you feel about this news, man? I know you're a big Activision guy. You're a big, fan of, Diablo and also StarCraft. So,
Well, play my
we're,
Call of Duty.
are you a big fan of Call of Duty?
Nah. Oh, I
Yeah.
just wanted so I can blend in.
So you can kind of identify with everybody else that's freaking out over this shit right here. But this is big news, right? And as I was saying, you're definitely a big fan of Activision Blizzard. Diablo, StarCraft, right? How do you feel about it, man? What do you think? What do you think? This puts Microsoft, and how do you see everything go? Just give me a quick first impression, then we'll go over some of these articles, and then we'll talk more in detail.
I think it was a good power play, man. I think definitely from the beginning, man. I mean, we talked about it, and Xbox was gonna make some real big moves. Even though people didn't want to fork up to it, Xbox had they had an edge with their system, and now they have a bigger. They just separated the gap now, and I think how things are going to go. As long as they play this right, everybody has to keep in mind that Microsoft is still a company and they're here to make money. So everybody's giving them a lot of grace, and praises, right? Because the standards are so low in gaming nowadays. But as long as they do this right, they don't start messing with franchises at the path that we're going. Maybe as long as they improve it is good. But as long as they don't butcher it, because some people do that, like you have different mindsets now, mixing in the game, and that whole path was going to be changed. It might be either through date or the whole story might change, like who knows. But I think it's good. I think it looks positive so far. I guess it's a good move.
Yeah, I think the only people that are really like bitching about this are Sony fans, right? And as
Yep.
they would, right, you would definitely expect to see that, right? Because Call of Duty, right, is the number one seller on that console, right? It sells more copies than any other game that's put on that platform. And for that number one title to now be, your competitors, I don't know. I mean, how else do you expect them to react, right? So I don't know. I don't know, but we'll get into that. We're just gonna go and use this stream tonight, right? Tonight's show is gonna be just for this. So let's get started, right? So the first article here, of course, is from the 18th, the day the news broke out. Microsoft to acquire Activision Blizzard for 68.7 billion. That's a lot of money. If you can imagine how much that costs, right? Bethesda costs Microsoft 7 billion. So this is almost 10 times that amount. So just to put that into context, right? So Satya Nadella, right? That's the CEO of Microsoft. He says the deal will play a key role in the development of metaverse platforms. So as it shows here, right, Microsoft is acquiring Activision, the troubled publisher of Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and Diablo. The deal will value Activision at 68.7 billion, far in excess of the 26 billion Microsoft paid to acquire LinkedIn in 2016. It's Microsoft's biggest push into gaming, and the company says it will be the third largest gaming company by revenue, behind Tencent and Sony once the deal closes. Microsoft plans to add many of Activision's games to Xbox Game Pass once the deal closes. With the acquisition of Activision, Microsoft will soon publish franchises like Warcraft, Diablo, Overwatch, Call of Duty, and Candy Crush. Upon close, we will offer as many Activision Blizzard games as we can within the Xbox Game Pass and PC Game Pass, with new titles and games from Activision Blizzard's incredible catalog. Right, that was by Phil Spencer. So, additionally, the news also came out right that Game Pass is now at 25 million subscribers, and a year ago, right in January 2021, it was announced that they were at, I believe, 17 or 18 million. Right, but if you read the actual publication, the official statement, it says that they're over 25 million. Right, it shows here it's now at 25, but if you read the actual publication that came up on the Xbox website, it says more than 25 million. Right, so that's something to keep in mind. Right, that's definitely something to keep in mind. Let me see if I can find that now, because that's something I did notice. That day, the same day it was released, that's what it said. Right, so let me see. Here it is. Right, perfect. I have it right here. I'm going to put this on screen so people can see, because I think that's something that people are overlooking. Right, you need to understand what words are, right, and what they mean, and the context they're in. Right, so over here, we also announced today that Game Pass now has more than 25 million subscribers. So it's not 25 million, right? A lot of people seem to think that's 25 million subscribers that they have on Game Pass, and that's not true. It's more than 25 million. They're just not disclosing how much more. It could be 26 million, it could be 28 million, it could be 29 million. If it was 30 million or more, then they would have used more than 30 million, right? But since it's more than 25, it could be 26, it could be 27, it could be 28, it could be 29, right? But they're using that as a marker, right? You're going to use a number like that to be a marker, right? Who knows? Maybe it is, just 25, but it's likely that it's not just 25, because of this wording right here. Now has more than. Okay, so it's something people need to keep in mind. It is more than. All right, so with that being said, right, as it shows here, this is the official, press statement, right, from Xbox on that day, the 18th. This is by Phil Spencer. He put this out, CEO of Microsoft Gaming. It shows here, right, that upon close, we will offer as many Activision Blizzard games as we can within Xbox Game Pass and PC Game Pass. That's what he said, right? So, as a company, Microsoft is committed to our journey for inclusion in every aspect of gaming among both employees and players. We deeply value individual studio cultures. We also believe that creative success and autonomy go hand in hand with treating every person with dignity and respect. We hold all teams and all leaders to this commitment. We're looking forward to extending our culture of proactive inclusion to the great teams across Activision Blizzard. So, as you may know, right, the last year, and even further back, right, there's been a lot of criticism, and probably rightfully so, right, of Activision Blizzard, right, with their working practices, right, the harassment that goes on under allegedly, right, and that's also affected their stock, right. The stock has gone down because of that. So that's another reason why they were able to be sold, right, because it had gone down so much, right, that if you look it up, Activision was actually looking to be bought. They did approach Facebook. This is known. And it was Microsoft that came in and bought them, right? So this is a news that came out on Tuesday, right? So as you see here, this is the gaming leadership team. We'll put it, big screen here for everyone to see. And yeah, they let the world know who's got the ball in their court now, right? What do you think, Seth? How do you feel about this news? Now that we've really gone over a little bit more.
I feel that it's definitely, they have a, they've already planned it out. Like you said, they were trying to sell a while ago. If they had that idea, they probably forecasted until now. Who knows how long they forecasted, honestly, but they probably already had a game plan. Actually, it's a good thing the Xbox, Microsoft bought them, because I just couldn't imagine how Facebook will probably mutilate, like everything with all their awesome work ethics and all that weird stuff that they do on their side. So I'm actually glad that Microsoft did pick them up
Yeah, because so
because
many people don't like Facebook, right? Especially with the privacy issues and things like that. And remember they acquired Oculus, right? They got Oculus a few years back, and ever since they got them, yeah, of course people still use Oculus for VR, but Oculus's popularity went down after Facebook bought them. So, even though Facebook, had the money to do it, people don't really like Facebook too much, right?
right, especially like with the whole metaverse they're trying to introduce. I mean, they're trying like they're repackaging a concept that was already done in the past, but because a lot of people don't know Intel, they don't really look as back as possible. They're making a quick move out of it, like introducing us like something brand new,
Right.
to this new audience. But besides the point, yeah, I think definitely Microsoft, cross fingers, knock on wood, whatever, hopefully they push this, all these games forward, and build upon them, instead of like kind of like the Call of Duty stuff, every year popping up. The thing they said also that they were gonna hold back. They wasn't gonna do a yearly release anymore,
Right.
and
You
it's
did
gonna
say
be
that.
something. So it's gonna be something that uh, they will give it more thought than just being the cookie cutter, same thing, just different guns or different era, I guess. Maybe who
Hmm.
knows? Maybe they'll go back to having a interesting story, I guess.
Yeah, and then with Call of Duty, right? They have that battle royale, right? They have Warzone, and we just got a new map, right? Just a few months ago, right in November, and so that's keeping things afloat, right? I mean, they were making over $1 million a day off of that game alone, so they were making over 365, 366 $66 million a year, and this is going to be year two of Warzone because Warzone came out March of 2020. So this is year two, right? So overall, in just 2 years, they've made you know over $700 million, right? So you can call it what, 3/4 of a billion, right? So that's big. That's really big for them, and with the popularity of battle royale, and of course mixing that with Call of Duty, which is of course the number one game in the world, probably at least when it comes to consoles. You can't miss. It's a can't miss, right? So the fact that that's happening is huge, right? Because then that's just more revenue, right, for Microsoft. Not that it necessarily needs it, but it's more revenue for the division, and it's also more exposure, right? Because now if you want to go ahead and really enjoy that experience, the place to play will either be between having an Xbox console or playing it on PC, right? So it's big, right? And as it shows on screen here, this is an article from Kotaku, right? The article is titled "Microsoft is bringing Activision Blizzard games to Game Pass," right? So as it shows here, this massive acquisition, as you can imagine, will have long-term ramifications for the exclusivity of Activision Blizzard games going forward. Think of when Microsoft bought Bethesda for $7.5 billion back in September 2020. Xbox head Phil Spencer said at the time that games from the Fallout maker would make their way to other consoles on a case-by-case basis, before clarifying in March 2021 that some games will remain Xbox exclusive. There are contractual obligations that will be adhered to, Spencer said in March, but confirmed that Xbox will be the future or the home for future Bethesda games. It seems likely that Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard, the Diablo makers' games going forward, will be console exclusive to Xbox ecosystem as well. Many of the publishers' games are multi platform at the moment, including Call of Duty Vanguard and Overwatch, but those currently in development, such as Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2, could drop their multi platform launch in favor of satisfying this brand new partnership, unless there are already contractual obligations in place dictating that those games release across multiple platforms. Now, that's something that a lot of people have been talking about lately because apparently there was a new contract signed between Sony and Activision. Right, it was about a 4 or 5 year deal. This happened if I'm not mistaken, in 2020, right, for exclusivity on Call of Duty. And we'll get to that in a bit, but this news is huge, right? Because Diablo, obviously, I'm actually going to put up a graphic on the screen for everyone to see right now of how much money they made, right? Blizzard made over a quarter, right, in the last quarter with regards to games like Diablo, right? So as you see here on the screen, right, for example, it shows Blizzard, right, quarter 3 segment net revenue 493 million, quarter 3 segment operating income 188 million. Key drivers: Blizzard revenue of 493 million grew 20% year over year. So 20% of 493, it's about 98 million approximately, driven by the successful launch of Diablo 2 Resurrected, right? So it grew 20% because practically of, or mostly for Diablo 2, right? Or because of Diablo 2 Resurrected. Year to date, net bookings for Blizzard and World of Warcraft, the largest franchise, were higher year over year. So, as they were talking about games like Diablo 4, right, and also Overwatch 2, you know, Blizzard didn't really drop anything, right? Activision, of course, dropped Vanguard, right, at the end of the year. But with Vanguard, right, it wasn't, it was successful, but it wasn't well received necessarily, right? Salute the post up, the homie post up. If you want to come on the show, just hit me up, and I'll send you an invite, and we can discuss this too if you want to come through. Send me a DM in the Discord, and I'll invite you to the server so you can come in and chat with us. So he's a big Xbox fan. He's an Xbox ambassador, brand ambassador. So if he wants to come in and give his 2 cents, no problem. But yeah, like the fact that Diablo, right? Diablo, and mind you, Diablo, did have its problems too, right? So, and still it was able to make money. So, what do you think, Seth, for the future of Diablo? I know you're a big Diablo guy, more than I am, right? But how do you feel about Diablo? I know that they just recently released the public test realm, right? They went ahead and made that available. The patch notes are already out. What do you think is the future for Diablo? What's going to happen to Diablo 2 Resurrected? What do you think is going to happen to Diablo Immortal? And what do you think is going to happen to Diablo 4?
Well, I think Diablo Immortal, being an app game for mobile phone devices, I think that's going to be okay for a while because it already has the microtransaction stuff. They already has all this bells and whistles that can generate income. So with Diablo 2, that's a different story because they don't really have that. I can tell you one thing for sure is that I don't think Microsoft is going to take lightly to websites like JSP anymore.
Right.
I think they're going to take action, I think, on them. And I don't think they're just going to be just kicking it in the background like they were doing all this time and, milking the cow or whatever. But I really can't say. I mean, I have a gut feeling that I think it might go a little bit negative. I can see them, implementing something that will give them a return because right now, again, Diablo 2 is not really generating anything for them besides resellers that are reselling items now. I mean, they released they have this patch going on with some little things here added, some new rune words and all that stuff, and some adjustments for some characters. But I don't know. I mean, I think definitely Xbox is gonna tinker with it. They're definitely going to come up with something that's gonna piss people off. I'm sure. Everybody's gonna get because especially the purists. They don't want their games to change, so
Well,
they're gonna get in
do you
there.
think Diablo 2 is just really done as a fan project? Like they knew they weren't going to make a lot of money off of it anyway. Like it would make some money, but not sort of sustainable long term. So because of that, what do you think? That you think they'll just leave it alone because they know what it kind of is? It's kind of really sort of a passion project. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think definitely they're just gonna let it run its course. Most likely, they're gonna probably implement some things, but let it run its course. And then when Diablo 4 comes out, gonna have some changes. I think whatever they had changed, back then, I think you can scrap that. And whatever way how they're gonna monetize it or whatever they're gonna do with it, it's gonna be totally different.
So you
Um,
think that once because remember this deal doesn't take effect till next year, right? It takes effect in June, right? June of 2023. So what do you think? You think like you said, those sites like D2JSP, that for those that don't know, right? Those that play Diablo, especially Diablo 2, of course Diablo 2 has its own in-game economy, right? With gold and certain items, right? Depending on the rarity, right? And how hard they are to achieve due to drop rates, especially with runes, right? So for those that don't know, you can actually buy technically these items through sites like D2JSP. And what D2JSP, it's basically a forum, right? It's a forum where people post the item that they have, and then you can use what's called forum gold, right? To go ahead and buy or sell these items. Now, the question is, how do you obtain forum gold? And this is something we explained in a previous show. Now, Forum Gold, you can obtain Forum Gold either by buying it from the site, right, through your PayPal account, for example. They have different price ranges. As a matter of fact, I think I have it right here, so I'll just put it on the screen just so people have an idea of how this works, right? So here it is. I guess I do have to log in or something.
You
Okay.
you can you can say basically it's almost like the old school cryptos kind of deal.
Yeah,
Kind of.
exactly.
It's like going to Coinbase and then buying some Ethereum, and and then you use it for other crap, and you never get it, but you could get it back. But in this situation with these guys,
You don't get
once you purchase
anything.
that gold, you don't get it back at all. Right? It's a dead
Exactly.
end.
So, like for example, you if you have $10, you can buy 290 forum gold. 20 gets you 630, 30 gets you 920, and then you can even buy, with $300, you can get 9,750 forum gold. Now that's a lot of forum gold. Now, right now, for example, some of the high runes that people would use in Diablo 2, for example, a jaw rune, it's going for about 650 forum gold now. At one point, I think it was like 2,000, right? It was like 2,000 forum gold. Is that right?
Yeah, it was a lot of money, especially in even in regular money, it was a lot. I think it was like reaching like 100 plus or something, or even
Yeah.
more. I don't
Well, I
remember.
remember that when the game first came out, like the first few days, it was because they also have other sites, right? Some sketchy sites as well. And that item was selling for like, and mind you, this is just a rune. Like, it's not even the actual item because you need other runes to make a rune word to actually make the item. So there was one item that was like 600, or at least one rune, I'm sorry, that was like $600. Just one.
Yep.
So you can imagine that, right? Now, that's the thing. So I think you're right. I think, now that Microsoft has taken over, right, and has taken over, these franchises, they're not going to want people to do these things. And who knows, maybe they'll tell devs to make it a little easier to get these items. I don't know. But,
Or purchase them, right? Or
or
purchase them
purchase.
like if you want them. It comes in the pack, right? Or
Right.
maybe they put it like Zerg, right? Every week, some dude comes out, oh, you want to buy runes? You just buy them. Like, all right, thanks.
Yeah.
Buy
Yeah.
that.
And that actually might be a good thing, because then it removes the elitism in the game, right? Because obviously people, if they have all of these runes and have all of these items, it becomes a problem, right? It becomes a conflict. So that's pretty messed up. And so that's the thing, right? Now, with regards to them now owning, um with them now owning this company, what happens? Because remember, right, we know that they were going to go ahead and use NFTs. Remember, they were going to go ahead and put up NFTs. So what's going to happen now, right? What's going to happen now that Microsoft owns Activision, right? Now that they own Activision, and remember, Activision was all for it. They were one of the people that were all for it. It was them, it was EA, it was Ubisoft for the most part, right? So now that they own it, what's going to happen? What's going to happen with the NFT thing that Activision had in mind? Because remember, in the previous show we had, Microsoft said they weren't looking to do that, right? They didn't like the idea of NFTs in games. And now that they own Activision, I would assume that their policy towards it would carry over. I don't know. We'll just have to see. But I'm really looking forward to see what's going to happen with those future titles. Obviously, games like Call of Duty, of course, they could definitely be on Game Pass, right? I think mainline titles, right, the actual full release will be on Game Pass. Um, if Sony wants to have it, they could. I don't see why they wouldn't be able to. But as a consumer, right, if you own a PlayStation console and you like to play Call of Duty, why would you want to pay $70 to play the game when you can just have an Xbox console or be on PC and just subscribe to Game Pass and play it from there for free, along with all the other games you might probably play? You understand? Like, what's the point of, like, okay, if I own the PS5 and all I really do is play games like NBA 2K and games like Call of Duty, then what's the point of me owning a PS5 to have to pay $70 just to play one game when I could just have it on Game Pass, have the full edition, right? Because remember, Game Pass gives you, every time you get a game on Game Pass, especially like Game Pass Ultimate, you get the full edition, right? Like the fucking the one with all the fucking what wells and what is it? The bells and whistles and shit. Yeah, it has everything. It's the premium edition, right? And you get all the DLCs and you get all of this other bullshit, right? So why would I tell me why should I pay $70 to play a game on your platform when I could just go over there and get all the bells and whistles just for one monthly subscription fee, right? I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Um, I really don't really have much thoughts about it. I think definitely, Sony's gonna have something in the back pocket. Um, I'm leaning towards that. I think Xbox with PC incorporated, and they're gonna they're gonna spearhead this. They probably already have, like I said, I think they already had this planned out. I think most of these companies always have this thing already planned out for a while. Like they talk among each other. Rubbing high fine, rubbing bellies in their dinner parties or whatever the hell they do. But I don't know. I think Sony will try to recover, but it will take some time. I think. I don't think they're just gonna do it. Like it'll probably take like a few years or something. But who knows? Maybe they'll join forces with another company themselves. Kind of. I don't know. I really don't really have much to say really about it because I don't know. It's kind of hit or miss. Um, but definitely, yeah. I mean, if you want to save money and you get the full game, like you said, on the Xbox console with the pass, oh yeah, of course, man. Just go with the Xbox, and you'll have
Mm-hmm.
all the updates, the DLCs, and all that stuff. It comes with the whole enchilada. Yeah, go with that. Because I mean, why even? Hell, I mean, which one is the easier console to get anyway? Which one is the one that people get
That's a
more difficult?
big point too. Which one is easier to get, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
because
right now,
I've seen a lot of people with the Xbox versus the PlayStation.
that's a great point. That's something that some I've heard some people mention, but that's definitely something that most people overlook. Which is a console that is much more easier to obtain? What console is readily available to the consumer? Who cares if you have PlayStation selling out everywhere, right? If you're the type of person that really just wants to play a game like Call of Duty, right, but you can't get the PlayStation 5, then what's the purpose of buying the PlayStation 5 now, right? Or even when we're talking about the next Call of Duty, right? Like, what is the point, especially with all the chip shortages and all these issues with importing, right? Things coming overseas from cargo. Like, think about it. Like, what console is readily available for the consumer, and it's the Xbox, whether it's the S or the X. So that's another reason to go ahead and now want to purchase this in the future. We don't know if, of course, things are going to get better or worse as time goes on, but what we do know is that if you want to jump into that pool, it's there. You don't have to try to really, you know, work your ass off to try to get a console. It's there. So yeah, that's a great point actually, Seth. Why would I want to, frustrate myself over, not being able to play with my friends and being left out, or if I'm a content creator, I can't make the content I want because, this isn't available. But now if I'm just a Call of Duty streamer, what the fuck do I need a PS5 for now? Right? Or I could just go to the PC and just get Game Pass on PC, and I'm sure it's going to be there too. Right? So it really affects Sony, man. Like, people need to really understand that this is big, man. Like, it really is, And even though some people will say, well, I don't really like Call of Duty anymore. It's not as good as it used to be, or it's only for sweats and for dude bros. That's fine, but guess what? People buy it every year, no matter how bad it is. It's just like Madden. Madden is garbage, but people buy it because, one, they love football, and two, they love playing it online, right? It has that community where people love to play against each other. They have tournaments and things like that. So people will continue to buy this title regardless of how bad it is, because of what it is, right? And the same thing goes for Call of Duty, man. They don't care about how bad it is. They care about what it is and what it brings to the table, in terms of community and other people playing. So this is a major chess move, man. Major chess move, and as you said, Diablo 4, that's coming soon. A lot of people are really excited about that, especially with how they're changing the story, and they're bringing in Lilith and all of these other things, and then of course Overwatch 2, which is a game. I think, how long has Overwatch 2 been in development, bro?
It's been for a while, man. I mean, I lost count. I played the demo. That was about it. It was alright. I mean, it's definitely not something. It's not the MOPA stuff is not really like my thing, but design wise, interaction. I can see people getting, definitely has its niche for those who like it, those type of games, But it's been a while. It's been in its sort of, I guess, somewhat development stage or
Hmm.
whatever mode is for a while, man. It's been for a while. Because wasn't Overwatch something that came from that project that they butchered up, which I think they called it Titan. I
It's
think
from
is that where it
Titan.
came from?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
right. Yes,
original.
it was the assets from Titan, right? Okay. So and then the new the other thing I was curious about was I wonder what's going to happen to that other one the other MMO they were working on. They had this big thing going on in the back end. They were, I guess, I don't know, they were trying to revive something that's gonna eventually um, not, I don't know if it's gonna destroy or push aside, but it's gonna work side by side with World of Warcraft. So
Hmm.
I wonder if they're gonna continue that. I wonder, probably not anymore, right? I was just thinking about that just now.
Yeah, so a lot of things are going to change, right? But I know for a fact a lot of people are looking forward to Overwatch too, right? When the first one came out, it was big, man. It was big. A lot of people streamed it. A lot of people played it competitively. It was big, and of course it's died down since, right? Because that game came out, within the first few years of the last generation, right? When it started, it must have came out like 2014, 2015, maybe.
I
And
think so.
yeah, it was early. I know that, and so it died down. It definitely did. But Overwatch 2, a lot of people are looking forward to that game, especially competitively. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But now you have Starfield that you see on the screen. Starfield. You have fucking Of course, you still have all the mainline Xbox studios, right? You have fucking Coalition, you have 343, you have the guys that make Forza. This shit is gonna be, it's gonna be crazy, man. Like, basically, the way I see it is Xbox is covering all their bases, right? And as other people have mentioned as well, what they're sort of really missing is fighting games and maybe some JRPGs, but everything else, and sports games, I mean, not really. They don't really need to go that route because EA puts their titles on everything. But at least fighting games and JRPGs, but everything else they've got it covered. And like I said, it defeats the purpose of really having to buy a PlayStation right now. At least if you ask me, I don't see the point. If you're not in a rush to play, like, okay, put it this way: if you own a PlayStation console to play, say, Call of Duty every year, and mind you, a PlayStation first player exclusive, the size of or at the level of like a God of War comes out maybe every 4 years, right? If you don't mind waiting 4 years to play the next God of War, right? And the games that you do play are now owned by the rival company, then why would you buy a PlayStation? Just buy the rival company's device or play on PC because you'll be able to play the games there too because they run PC now as well. And then just wait for Sony to release the games on PC, right? What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, I agree with what you said. Actually, another sidetrack thing that just came to mind. I remember, excuse me, I remember in it was when Windows 95 came out. I just it just dawned, it just dawned to me right now, just now. Uh, Remember Bill Gates had that ugly demo background tech thing that he did with Doom. It was when I think when Doom Hell on Earth kind of came out. I don't remember the exact year, but he wanted to buy Doom, and now Microsoft finally got it. I wonder how Romero feels about that because they weren't going to sell to him. Remember, they got all butthurt and weird about
Mm-hmm.
it, and they didn't want to sell to Microsoft because they fear what they would do to Doom. Well, anyway, in the end of the
Well,
day,
look, it doesn't even matter no more, you know?
doesn't matter, right, right. So I was just wondering, I wonder what Bill Gates will say now. Maybe he'll tweet about it or something like, "Oh, look, I finally got Doom," and probably show John Romero's head on the stick, kind of like in Doom 2 in the end.
Yeah.
Or should I say spoiler alert for those who
Spoiler.
haven't played it?
30 years later, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
But yeah, it's crazy, man. But let's continue because a lot of people have been wondering, like, yo, did Activision and getting sold to Microsoft break any laws? How do they feel about the antitrust laws? And is Microsoft becoming a monopoly and all of this bullshit? There's articles talking about this, right? And most of them say that there's nothing wrong, right? There's nothing wrong. Everything looks fine. Because in order for it to be a monopoly, it has to, be able to, own at least 50% of the market, right? And they don't, right? And like we were saying here, right? Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard is expected to conclude prior to the next year, right? June 30, 2023. So, for the most part, people that are complaining about antitrust and if it's a monopoly are Sony fanboys, right? Because nobody really sees it like that, right? Nobody really thinks that it is. It's just a bunch of BS, right? And of course they're saying this because unfortunately the console war and the fanboys are a real thing, right? Instead of looking at and this is funny because with the homie post up that was over here in the chat, we were discussing this last night how you know Facebook was approached, right? If it wasn't Facebook and if it wasn't Microsoft that would have bought Activision, who could have bought them? Could have been Amazon. It could have been Google. Could have been Tencent. Do you want those companies owning Activision? I don't think you do because nobody really likes those companies either. More the dislike for Amazon, the dislike for Facebook, the dislike for Tencent might be more than what it is for Microsoft these days. Remember back in the day, a lot of people didn't like Microsoft, but over the years, I don't want to say that they've won people over. I think over the years, there's been other companies that come out that people hate more than them, right? So, and also you have to look at it like this. There's a reason why Activision didn't approach Sony because Sony can't afford it. They cannot afford to make a $70 billion purchase like this without possibly taking out a loan to do it. You know what I'm saying? Microsoft is valued at over $3 trillion. This is chump change for them. So think about it. If Activision approaches Microsoft, then who's at the table in terms of negotiations and potential buyers, right? Sony's not at that table, man. It's Microsoft, it's Amazon, it's Facebook, it's Google, and it's probably Tencent, right? So the fact that out of all of those companies, it was Microsoft, that's a good thing, guys. That's a really good thing for many reasons. Number one, Facebook has been in hot water for years over privacy and over censorship, which is really bad. Google, same thing. More so with censorship, right? Because of what they do with their search engine and what they do with this very same platform we're streaming this on YouTube. Amazon, don't even get me started with Amazon. They own the Washington Post. Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Posts, right? No, mind you, they own the Washington Post, and my homeboy Post Up is here. What a coincidence, right? But think about it. And people don't like the Washington Post because of the way they report the news. Most of the time, it's considered fake news, or if it isn't, it's heavily biased. And even they have propaganda. And I keep telling people, you got to remember, propaganda is legal in America. Okay? It's been legal since like 2013, something like that. Look it up. I know it's for a fact legal. All right? And then that leaves Tencent. Do you want a company that operates in China with the shit that goes on over there and the IP laws that they have to take over the biggest selling franchise on consoles? And not just that, the biggest selling franchise that appeals to the American market, because it's always revolved around America, man. It's revolved around historical events that the United States Army or the United States military have been involved in. Do you really want that to happen? What do you think? Tell me, Seth. How do you feel about those candidates being there at the table for this transaction? What do you think? Do you think that Microsoft was the best one, the best option, or what do you see?
Yeah, I think all of them have, like, definitely a lot of them are worse to bad. I mean, there's like really hard to select, but out of the group, definitely, I would probably would have leaned more with Microsoft in a way. I mean, I don't like Microsoft that much. I don't really care for them, but I think definitely it was a better choice versus, like you said, like the one that what is it, Tencent, that pretty much their stuff is from China. A lot of people know what will happen, right? It'll be like microtransactions up the butt. You'll
Mm-hmm.
have, view an ad, you get 10 points or 10 coins or whatever, right? And that'll be pretty much like 80% of the game. Then the other ones, Amazon. I can't really think of any game that do they have any games right now, Amazon? I
I
think they
think they
do,
do,
right?
but nobody
They do,
cares.
right?
Didn't they have
Nobody
New
cares,
World?
right?
That New World shit that came
Yeah,
out.
and it got hacked. It got messed up because if you change the screen size something, you get like Infinity Gold, and it got messed up the comedy, and they all got butthurt about it.
Yeah,
I think they did
bro.
some
And,
crap like that,
and
and
doesn't it run like shit too?
I think so. One of the guys I know, he was trying to get me into it, but then when I saw it, I just I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it. I thought it was kind of goofy, so I skipped it. And who was the other ones? Who's the other?
Facebook, bro.
Yeah, Facebook sucks. And the thing is also, just to add to that, on top of that, I don't own the device, the VR thing, but I know a person who's a diehard. I mean, they even sleep with it, and they record themselves sleeping and snoring, and
That's
I
crazy.
guess that's how they get their Patreon money. I don't know if you guys want to know it, but maybe I'll tell you. You can post it up somewhere, I guess, if you want to watch someone or hear someone snore while they sleep. But anyway, so they told me that if your Facebook account is not legit, right? Like if you can't prove it's you, they'll just terminate your account. And if they terminate your account, you can't use the device.
Because it's
You can't use
blocked.
it
They
either.
block it then, right?
They block it, right? They brick it, right? They brick it, and then it just becomes a paperweight or some crap. Maybe you can jailbreak it, but I heard that's what she told me, and I was like, that sounds pretty stupid. I don't want to do that. Why would I pay something so I don't really own it? Well, it's not mine, right? What am I leasing it or something?
Right.
That's stupid.
And that's
So
and that's not how it's supposed to work. At least with hardware, I can understand that conversation with software, but with hardware, are you telling? And then that goes to what's been going on with right to repair, right? Because that's something that's been going on for a long time, especially with Apple, right? Right to repair, for those that don't know, is if you try to fix this or fix a device, right? you practically are completely voiding its warranty, right? Like you don't have any right to try to fix it, even if you're, some sort of technician. Like you just cannot do that, right? So if I get an Oculus Rift, right, and Facebook decides, well, fuck this guy, we're gonna go ahead and block his account. So are you saying that now that, like you said, did I lease this device? Like, how does that work? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't, like I said, I understand that with software, that makes sense to me. In a way, it does, right? I understand that, but we're talking about hardware. This isn't a car. It's not like I'm paying, um, you know, monthly for the car, right? I'm making my payments. No, I bought this flat out, right? That's crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Who, which console did that though? They got butthurt because they jailbreak it. Was it Sony when they jailbroke it
Yeah,
and
yeah, that was the PS3. Remember?
PS3? Yeah, they were putting ROMs in it or something to play like
Yeah, because
Nintendo.
remember, then they got hacked, and then that
Yeah,
shit was down for like a week or something. Remember that?
yeah, and I don't know. I don't even remember what we got out of it. What did they get? They gave us like PlayStation.
Well, I know
For like,
they gave us like a year of like some sort of it was computer associates, right? It was some sort of identity protection thing for a year. I remember that because I took that. It was that, and I think they gave us like a free game or some bullshit. It was bullshit, bro. It was
that's yeah,
garbage. But I'll
yeah.
tell you this: I did jailbreak the PS3, and I did get to play some games on it. I will tell you that I did do it, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. I did try it. I did that. I did it.
So there probably has to be a way to jailbreak that stupid headset. Because I mean, that's what she told me, and I was like, that sounds stupid. Because I was about to, but I wanted to check it out, and see what's about. And I wanted to become one of those stupid knuckles. Do you know the way? 'Cause I thought it was funny, so I wanted to be one of those dicks running around. But then when she told me all this negative stuff about it, well, she for her it was positive because she was like, oh, it's cool, like, well, I don't take Facebook serious, so I don't want my real life background or whatever there, so they're gonna flag me. So I'm not gonna pay whatever it cost back then just so I can have a piece of hardware sitting on my table that don't work.
Yeah, nobody
That's
really likes Facebook anymore. Facebook had its run. I rarely use my Facebook account, and the only person I talk to is you on Facebook, and that's on Messenger. I don't really post anything on Facebook. Now it's just really IG, right? Instagram, because they own that too, and they own WhatsApp. But I don't know, man. Like to me, Facebook getting into gaming, and they used to have those games. What were those games that they used to have on the browser? Those shitty games. Do you remember?
Castle, yeah, Castle Age and all these farming games and all that stuff. They ran like in some weird, like, I don't know, some fake website type thing. It's kind of remind me of like Neopets. I don't know if some people remember that. Where like you go online and you click around stuff and you navigate through it. But then they got a little more advanced with HTML5 and they added like 3D stuff. I don't know. I thought it was always kind of weird. I remember some guy added me on Castle Age, and I didn't understand what the hell to do. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? He's like, just click around and do all this stuff. And so I clicked around, and I don't know what the hell I was doing, but it made no sense to me. They went
Yeah,
too
it's not
stupid.
really a game. You're just clicking around, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. It reminded me of like those books. You ever read these books that like you're reading? It says go to page 12 or go to page 13 to make a decision, and you
Yeah.
go to the book. Oh,
Like those
page 13.
mystery books and shit.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you die. You got fucked. And, you got bent over. Someone fucked you. Oh, great. Thanks. Appreciate it. This sucks. It's kind of like that. It's kind of what those Facebook shit reminded me of. I don't know. I just never got into it. I knew. I have friends that were like into Mafia Wars, I think, or whatever it was
Mafia
called.
Wars was one of them. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, this one girl, she was like literally putting money into it. I don't know what she was doing, but she was like level, I don't know, some 3-digit number. I can't even remember, but she was like trying to get me to play that, and I'm like, I don't like it. It looks kind of weird. And
Yeah,
I
I
just,
wouldn't trust that shit either, bro.
I didn't want to tell her that it looks sucks. It looks terrible. Get
Yeah,
out of my face.
the game you play fucking sucks. Don't talk to me again.
Yeah, don't talk to me
What's
again.
fucking
Block.
wrong with you? I don't talk to fucking noobs like you playing shit games.
Yeah, it was really.
Yeah.
I just never got into it. But yeah, like, and then the privacy and all that stuff, and the story of the concept of his metaverse stuff, man. I can tell you the better metaverse. You know what it was? It was PlayStation Home. Remember that shit?
I remember PS Home.
that's when PlayStation did it, and I'll give them props for that because that's probably I bet you they're gonna introduce it. They're gonna bring it back, PS5,
I
right?
think they said they wanted to bring it back. They were
They're gonna
supposed to bring PlayStation Home back. Yeah.
but there's a group. There was a actually this is I'll just tell you this real short story, real quick. There was a group of the hamster team. Cause remember they had those weird groups like the Frosties. I think I was in that one. And then they had the Homelings and the hamsters and all these other fucktards. Well, the hamster group apparently they had like some developers in that group, like smart people. They weren't like our groups. They were all fucking dumb, but they had like some smart cats in that group. So what happened was they went and they made think they were either developing for the PlayStation another version of Home, but I don't know what happened to that. I haven't followed up with them, but I still have the main leader of them in my Facebook. I haven't talked to them. I don't even know their real name. I always called her Blue Hamster, and that's it.
You
But
should
she's
find
under,
out.
and I know that they were developing something really big, and it was pushing forward, and they did have like some samples and all this shit. It looked interesting, but
Yeah, they're
again, I'm
gonna
not.
do it. They're gonna do it
Yeah,
because I remember they said they would. They're gonna do that. And
maybe that's what's gonna be it. Maybe they're gonna use that shit. I don't know. Maybe.
but luckily, Microsoft was able to save all of these franchises from people like that looking to do that, right? I believe listen. If Microsoft wants to go into the metaverse and all of that bullshit, I have more faith in them doing that. Even though I'm not really into that, but I have more faith in them doing that than Facebook. I
Yeah,
think
I don't know why I don't even know why they're using metaverse. So it's kind of like a corny name, you know. It's kind of like just I don't know. It kind of reminds me of VR chat. It's like VR chat. It's like PlayStation Home. I
I
mean,
just
hell,
don't want anything to do with Facebook and gaming.
NFTs.
I think
How about
that's ridiculous.
yeah, I think the whole platform of NFT is I mean NFT metaverse is to sync it with the NFT stuff. That's
Yeah,
why they
absolutely.
actually repackaging it. You're like, here you go, it's a new concept, guys. Like, no, it
Oh,
isn't.
it's
That
like
reminds
it's like the StockX thing. Remember, I told you that StockX
me of
is
StockX,
now
yeah,
selling. Yo, bro, StockX is now selling sneaker
NFT
NFTs. Listen,
for a lot of money,
listen to what I just said. They're selling sneaker NFTs
for a lot of money.
for a lot of money. What the fuck is going on right now? So now people are remember, people back in the day would kill each other for sneakers. Now they're gonna kill each other virtually for an NFT.
Hey man, don't you want those Jordans? The what do you call it? Cool Grays NFT. Get the NFT ones.
I'm
$4,000.
gonna get the cool gray NFT, right? So I can put it on my character in Call of Duty. You know what I mean?
Imagine that.
Like that would be so fucking dumb, bro. You know what I'm saying? That would be so tacky, man. Come on, man. Like that's where we're heading, right? So the fact that Facebook didn't get Call of Duty, at least from what we know about Xbox not liking NFTs, has saved us from that bullshit. Because with the meta, they're gonna want to incorporate all of that. So like, if you own, I don't know, a fucking a New York Yankee fitted NFT, you could put it on your character in Call of Duty. You know, nah, man, that's just too much. That's stupid. I'm not with that because then it's not Call of Duty anymore, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's just a bunch of shit added to a game in layers under an engine that runs this game this way, but it loses its identity. It becomes a joke, and that's
It's gonna
stupid.
be like that movie, Get Ready Player One. Like they'll have an environment. They have all these characters like Royal Rumble each other. You know, it's gonna be like that fucking movie, man.
Fuck that, bro. I'm not with that shit. So anyway,
It's
let's keep going. Let's keep going. So just real quick, because we're almost halfway there, right? So Blizzard outlines culture changes, promises game announcements after Microsoft deal, right? So as you see here, right, Blizzard boss Mike Ibarra says that the company knows we need to deliver content to our players on a more regular basis and innovate both in and beyond our existing games. We have some exciting things to announce, and I'll be sharing more next week. So BlizzCon, of course, is going to be sometime this year, right? Probably within the next month or two, right? So keep that in mind. Of course, they probably will speak very little about this because it hasn't come into effect yet, but I'm sure they will drop some news here and there, right? So with regards to what he says, right, as you see here, right, with the conditions of employees, right, at Activision, I think this is a good step. Definitely a good step for them. You know, the fucking the PR they've gotten, man, and you know the news that's come out, it's just horrendous. People think, well, I don't know if they think, I think they know now, or at least they feel that Bobby Kotick is a fucking monster, right? Allegedly, right, because of what it's happened, and obviously, I think he's gonna get like 250 million or some shit like that as his payout for no longer being CEO because they already announced it, right? That he's only gonna be there until the deal is in effect. Once the deal is in effect, he's getting the fuck out of there, right? And rightfully so. The guy should not be there, right? So I think that, you know, with all the shit that's been going on over there, it's very unfortunate. Nobody should work under those conditions. It's very very disgusting, and the fact that, you know, all of these bad apples are going to be removed, starting with this, you know, the head of the snake at the top, I think it's great. What do you think, bro?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, it's good that it got exposed, it got some attention because I mean, maybe other companies would not rethink, like higher ups they try to abuse, this is what's gonna happen. So now they're being held as an example, Hey,
Yeah,
look, your workers, we're gonna retaliate and say, hey, stop touching me or
and
stop
not,
talking to
and not just that, because it's a domino effect, right? How why think about it? Why did Activision have to get sold? Because all of this shit started coming out, and its market value just kept going lower and lower and lower to the point where, you know, if you're Microsoft, you're seeing this. I'm like, man, you know, last year or 2 years ago, this shit may have been 150 billion or 125 billion. Shit's only 70 now. I'll buy it. Yeah, I'd rather pay 70 to pay 120. You know what I mean? So believe me, I'm sure Microsoft has been thinking about buying Activision for a while, and they probably knew how scummy, you know, these motherfuckers were. So like, you know what? This shit's gonna come out eventually. Let's just wait. Let's just wait for them to shoot themselves in the foot, and then we buy it at the lowest price, right? Because I'm telling you, this is not the only company out there that has this sort of toxic environment, right? The more things get outed, right, the more that price is gonna drop, and the more that price is gonna drop, the more someone else is gonna want to buy it because it's gonna be at a bargain, right? That's smart business. Why wait? Why pay for something that's going to cost this much, right? When you know probably the next best thing is coming out, you know, a week later, or the new version is come out a week later. So I'm like, all right, I'll wait for that one to come out. And then this one's gonna come, and this one's gonna drop. But obviously, when it comes to things like this, it doesn't work that way. But if you know it's toxic and news, you know eventually is gonna come out, especially with, you know, all these you know, social platforms, you know, available for people to out these things, right? Just wait. You know they're gonna shoot themselves in the foot. It's only a matter of time. The word is already out. Don't think that people, executives at Microsoft, don't know what goes on in Activision. They know. They have to know. You know what I'm saying? But they have to wait for the public to know, right? To learn about these things, right? So that then that value drops. And when that value drops, you know, if it drops any lower, Bobby Kotick is getting fired, right? And he probably should have been fired, right? But you wait for the price to drop even more, and then you're like, okay, I'll buy it now. And yeah, you know, we'll keep you here because we need you to be here, but we really don't want you here because we think you're scum anyway. So when this shit is all done, we're getting you to fuck up out of here, right? And then they look like good guys for doing it, right? But I'm telling you, this is all calculated. These are all calculated risks. There's no way. I want somebody to look up how much Activision was worth before all of these things came up. Look up how much it was worth 2 or 3 years ago, and then tell me if that's more than what Microsoft paid for right now. I'm pretty sure it was more than what a Microsoft paid for right now. I'm pretty sure. But with all of this shit coming out, that stock price goes down because people don't want to be associated with this. So then what happens? Microsoft comes and saves a fucking day at a fucking bargain. That's what I think. And if that's what they did, that's smart, right? They're not trying to save Bobby Kotick. They're trying to save all of these people from losing their job. Because if that price keeps going down and nobody wants to purchase their games, Because remember when Call of Duty and Diablo came out, remember they didn't want to buy it, right? There was a boycott. Remember that, bro?
Yeah, I remember.
They
Yep.
were boycotting this. So if they boycott their products, the stock is going to go down even further, right? So why? I think Microsoft came in at the right time and bought them, right? And when they bought them, look what happened to Sony. Sony shares fell 13% the following day, man. $20 billion of its market value disappeared in one day. All granted that the next day they did recoup some of that, but look how big that is, man. Look how powerful Activision is, right? And mind you, they lost value because of what was going on, right? And even still, Microsoft came and bought them, and if and affected Sony so bad they lost 20 billion of market share one day. Now imagine if none of that shit would have happened in Activision. Imagine if none of those things would ever came out, or it was just a perfect place to work and nothing like that ever happened, and its value was way more. Let's say it was 150 billion, and Microsoft still fucking bought it. You think Sony would have lost 20 billion in market share the next day? Fuck no, they probably would have lost 70 billion or some shit like that, right? The only reason it lost 20 billion in market share, right, is because its association to Activision, right? Because it's so dependent of Activision titles. It's dependent of Call of Duty. Without Call of Duty, nobody's buying a PlayStation, bro. We're gonna buy a PlayStation just to play a game once every 2-3 years? No,
That's if
man.
they can even find one.
If you can even find one, bro. If you can even find one. So what are we talking about right now? Like, nah, man, that's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? That's bullshit. I'm telling you, if the market price for Activision were higher and Microsoft would have bought it, it would have been worse for Sony. It would have been worse. They're lucky. They're lucky that Microsoft only paid 70 billion. Because if they would have had to pay more and there wasn't no bullshit tied to Activision, telling you, man, I'm telling you, it would have been fucking GG for them, bro. Why? Because the reputation Activision had obviously had an effect on Sony, but their reputation was so bad that it hurt, but it could have been much worse. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if you buy a company that is so loved by everybody and there's no problems, and now that company's taken off the table and you can't work with them like that, or now if you want to work with them, you have to go through another person to work with them. Nah, man. Nah, man. No fucking way. I don't know. What do you think? You know what I'm saying? Like, because now a lot of people are even saying that, Microsoft, now that they have Activision, they're thinking maybe Microsoft needs to buy EA, or Microsoft needs to buy Take Two, or Sony needs to buy Capcom or Square Enix. What do you think, bro? What do you think is the next play for both companies?
I think it depends how the shareholders will hold out with this. Especially if I don't think what does Sony have still on under their belt? Like which companies? Like do you know which game at the top of your? Because I can't really think of any right now. What they might have that's
They,
exclusive.
they just got God of War. They got
That
Spider Man. They
yeah, but God of
got.
War
Go
PC
ahead.
also now.
It came out on PC. It came out a week ago. It came
Yeah,
out a
right.
week ago.
So that's pretty
But
much
the thing
gone.
is, the thing is, it doesn't come out day and date, right? It comes out. Well, it's coming out 4 years, well, 3.5 years, 4 years later. They
Mm,
have Ratchet and Clank. They
yeah.
have The Last of Us.
Well, who cares?
Uncharted. The story's already over unless they want to bring it back for whatever reason. What else they got? I
That's
don't.
it, right? That's like the main ones, right?
I think so. Yeah. God of War is cool. Horizon, I think it looks boring. I'm not interested. Ratchet and Clank, I'm sure it's great. It looks fun, but to me, it's a child's game. I'm not into that. The Last of Us, the first one was pretty cool. I think. I don't see why people hyped it up so much. I think too many people were hyping it up so much, especially with all the zombie craze that was been going on the last few years. So I think that may have helped it. I don't really
Mm.
care for it, honestly. I didn't play the second one because I'm not into that, man. Like I like that shit is corny to me, yo. Like especially people that love watching The Walking Dead. I'm like, yo, bro, get the fuck out of here, man. You guys are fucking drones, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's like people that watch fucking Game of Thrones because everybody else is watching it. You know, like you gotta have something to talk about. You know what I mean? Like you have to be able to watch it so you can sit in the table and talk about it. That shit is corny to me, bro. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm not into that shit. What else? Um, Uncharted, that's done. What else did I say? I think that's it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say Crash Bandicoot, but I think that's gone
Yeah,
too,
that's
right?
Activision's now, bro. That's fucking Microsoft's.
Yeah, so that's gone. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think happening, I mean, this is a while. This again, is from back in the day shit. There was an article a long time ago, um, that did talk about that there was a merge, not with Sony Electronics or Sony whatever, it was just the gaming part of Sony, the PlayStation side, whatever you want to call it, that they wanted to like a handshake together with Nintendo. I thought
Mm-hmm.
that'd be kind of interesting. Would it happen? I don't know, but I think if it all depends on the shares of Sony, like like again, people are not buying it. I think the resellers are getting stuck with all these overpriced PlayStations. They're not getting to the customers. People are not playing it. If people are not playing it, they don't pay their yearly fees or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So they're just being stocked up somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if things go pretty bad or pretty south, I'll just throw it out there. If Nintendo grabs Sony and Sony PlayStation, not the whole other Sony part, but if they grab them, I can see maybe because kind of like Nintendo, they're like the kings of gimmicks. Remember they made these boxes that you can make into like
Yeah,
interact
yeah.
interaction shit for kids, or they have the new AR reality shit with like like augmented reality with the Mario Kart thing. You can put these checkpoints around and you can see it on the screen and go ooh. But I mean, it was a while ago. I don't remember the exact year. I'll have to dig that up and bring it up maybe on the next one we have it. But it did say that they brought it up, but then that idea was dropped or it was forgotten or black hole, whatever you want to call it. But I mean, it's like the console wars. The old Nintendo versus Sega kind of deal. Now it'd be like Xbox and I don't know what to call it. What would it be? Nintendo Station?
I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna happen because remember, man, PlayStation, it wasn't
They're both,
supposed to
they're both
exist.
and they're both Japanese companies. I mean, they're gonna get together.
Yeah,
Maybe
that could happen. those guys are like that. But
they'll
Nintendo, I'm sure they're never gonna forget what Sony did to them, man. Remember, they were supposed to put that shit out together.
yeah,
Remember?
yeah, but money makes people strong bedfellows, man. It's kind of like dealing with lawyers. So I mean,
Yeah.
remember they're gonna say, well, it's in the past now. We want to make money. We want to stay afloat and stay relative to the market. So how can we do that? How can we knock out the Goliath of Xbox?
Well,
Because
yeah, they're
like you're
gonna look
saying,
at it like, how do we beat this outsider? Because this shit is
right,
our thing. We're Japanese. We've been doing this shit
right,
forever.
right. So how do we do it? So they might maybe again this is just like what's that thing that everybody says
Speculation.
yeah, but no, the trendier one, what is it, like the Marvel shit. What's it called?
Oh,
Multi-
multiverse shit.
multiverse bullshit. Right, right. It's multiverse bullshit. You know, Nintendo Station comes out with some new gimmick where you strap a box to your groin or something. You can play Mario Kart. I don't know. You feel the shell hitting your balls or some shit. But I think I could see something like that happen. Maybe strong stretch, long stretch. But how it stands, I think Xbox is gonna hold the title for a while. I
Yeah,
definitely see it. I can see maybe 3 years, 4 years, maybe once this whole microchip material stuff gets in line again, and the inflation stuff hurting them and all that stuff. So maybe I mean, hell, wasn't Sony even having issues with the fan? Like they had to use a cheaper fan
yeah,
because the one they wanted to use, they just couldn't get a hold of it, so they had to downgrade and get
yeah.
another type of fan, and it
Yeah,
was
they
that's
had
a
it. They
lot.
changed the fans. Yeah, they definitely changed the
Right,
fans. And
right.
and shout out to Radiance 96. He said Sony finally getting real competition and people mad about it. Sony should have made FPS and not rely so much on Call of Duty. Yeah, but they tried, and they tried when it was really just Halo to compete against. Right? They tried with Killzone, and it didn't work. They
The
tried.
traffic.
They tried with fucking Resistance, and it didn't work.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Resistance was pretty bad.
It just didn't work. Those guys over there. I don't know, man. Like they're not good at multiplayer, man. They're really not. People can sit here and say, well, Uncharted multiplayer was awesome. It was so much fun. Or The Last of Us multiplayer was great. It's been around for so long. How come nobody talks about it, bro?
So calm.
SOCOM, bro. I played SOCOM religiously. And yo, that shit is dead. Dead. You know what I'm saying? Fucking DED. Dead. Not
Well,
DEAD. DED. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. That's the fucking internet fucking lingo. It's fucking dead. Dead.
is people still using Codebreaker
Yo, they probably still are, bro. You know what I
with
mean?
with the grenades? Remember Infinity grenades?
Yeah,
And shoot.
and fucking doing the Skywalker and fucking SOCOM, bro. That shit is dead, bro. Shit is dead. They tried, believe me, and that's not to bash on Radiance at all, right? I know what he's trying to say, but they couldn't even compete against Halo, bro. All right, people could say Halo is not what it once was. Fine, that's fine, but Sony couldn't even compete against Halo, bro. So what makes you think they're gonna be able to compete against Call of Duty? If Halo could barely probably compete against Call of Duty, you understand? Like, think about it. What are they gonna do, bro? How? There's nothing they can do, and it's not like they're gonna go buy EA to get Battlefield. That's not happening, bro. You understand? So like, Sony did try. They did, and they failed miserably because all of those franchises are dead, and they've been dead for fucking 2 generations. Fucking Killzone Shadowfall was a launch title that came out in 2013. It's fucking 2022, bro. It's been 10 years. And that game was fucking trash. The game was so bad, you would get fucking screen tearing. It was terrible. They
What
tried,
else?
man.
What else do they have for shooting? I mean, that just can't be
That's
it.
it,
That
bro.
sounds
That's
pretty lame.
it. They don't got nothing else, bro. They tried with Mag. Remember Mag?
Oh yeah, that was pretty bad too. I was in the beta test. Oh, the
I
alpha test
beta
for it.
tested it, that shit too, bro, because that was Zipper Interactive, the same people that made
Yep,
SOCOM.
yep. Yeah, that went pretty bad.
It was bad, bro. It was bad, bro. It was bad. It was bad. They tried. And kudos to them. Give them all the credit in the world for trying. They get a fucking star for effort. Remember when you were in school and they had the board and everybody got a star at the end of the day or whatever if they did their job and there was a fucking race to see who had the most stars? They got a fucking star for each one. At least you tried.
You got a sticker on you scratch and you smell it. It smells like strawberries.
Yeah, But
Good job.
except that the ones that they got smell like shit.
Right.
You know? They tried, bro. They really did. And they fucking failed miserably, bro. They tried, man. I remember playing Killzone on PS2, bro. That shit was garbage. It was fucking garbage. I couldn't even play that again. It should give me motion sickness. How slow that game was. The frame rate was horrible. It's fucking
Yeah,
garbage.
they had Killzone 3, didn't they? Or no? Or was it 2 the end?
They had three. I'm sure it was
They had
garbage too. I own two. I never play. I played it for like 2 hours. I'm like, I don't want to play this shit. It's just whack. I'd rather go play
3
Call
was
of
in
Duty.
3 was in PS3. I mean, in
Yeah,
PS3, right?
yeah, PS3.
Man, I don't. I remember I tried to Platinum 1, and I was trying to play it kind of religiously, but I don't know. It just got boring. Like one day, it just unclicked, and I just uninstalled it.
Yeah,
It
it was
get
bad.
wiped out.
It was
I don't know what
bad, bro.
happened.
It was bad. It was just bad.
Uh,
It was bad. And mind you, at that time, remember, Halo was out when PS2 was out, right? And this was before Killzone, right? Before Killzone, it was SOCOM, and SOCOM was competing with Halo as best as it could. I'm not saying that it was a great competitor, but it competed as best as it could with Halo. I remember I would play SOCOM online on PS2, right? 2003, 2004, and we would say, hey, where's this guy? We're gonna have a clan war, and like, oh, he's playing Halo. I'm like, man, get him off that shit. I'm trying to get this clan war running. But even then, it couldn't compete with Halo, right? And that was Sony's most popular online franchise, bro. People could say, oh, it was Killzone. No, it wasn't, bro. No, it wasn't. Why do you think people till this day are still asking for a SOCOM 2 remaster, bro? Why do
That'd be
you
pretty.
think? Bro, why do you think they even created a fucking fan game called fucking H Hour? Why? Why? Why did they make so many titles for SOCOM, bro? They made 4 mainline titles and like 3 of them for fucking portable. Back then, when this shit really first started, their most popular online franchise was SOCOM. It was never Killzone. Killzone was just popular because it looked nice, but it was never Killzone like that, man. It was SOCOM. SOCOM was where it was at, and SOCOM failed miserably. After SOCOM 2, it never recovered. Why? Because they tried to go the Call of Duty route. They wanted to add fucking, vehicles and bigger maps, and it just didn't work. It didn't work. And then with the PS3, they released SOCOM Confrontation, and it made it worse because now they knew they had to compete against Call of Duty.
That's the one that came with the headset too, right?
Yeah, on the PS3, yeah. They
Yeah,
tried
that shit broke.
bro, that game was broken, bro. It was unplayable. Literally. They tried, and it was SOCOM at that time. It wasn't Killzone. It wasn't fucking with it, bro. Not on that level. Maybe after, Confrontation came out and then SOCOM 4 came out, maybe Killzone took that space, but it never started with Killzone. It started with SOCOM, guys. It was SOCOM. And that got crushed by Halo. And then when Call of Duty really became mainstream, and then you had Confrontation, SOCOM Confrontation, Confrontation was trying to take players away from Call of Duty, and that was never going to happen. And that was their most popular online franchise at that time. I played it. I had it. It wasn't that, man. I'm telling you. And then Killzone goes to shit. They had nothing. Resistance wasn't doing anything. It had nothing.
Yeah, the Resistance got crushed by Gears.
Yeah, it had nothing. Nothing. So what are we talking about, man? In terms of, multiplayer, never. They never had anything to compete with anything else, whether it was an Xbox game or not. At first, they were competing with Halo, got crushed. Then they were trying to compete with, Call of Duty, and they got crushed. Right? Halo was still sort of able to compete with Call of Duty when Halo 3 came out. I remember it was still very popular. But even then, Call of Duty took over mostly everything, right? But Halo still had its crowd, and that's why it's still around. Nothing that PlayStation has ever put out in terms of multiplayer is still around. Nothing. Don't even talk to me about Uncharted Online or The Last of Us Online. It's not on that level, man. There's levels to this shit. It's not on that level, man. Never has been and never will be. And people need to get this, man. Like, that's how big this shit is, man. Sony never fucking cared about the multiplayer aspect of games. If you want to play a fucking movie, get a PlayStation, bro. And you know what I think, bro? I think what really started this whole movie-like experience in games,
Kojima.
your boy Kojima with fucking Metal Gear 4. What do you think? You agree with that?
Yeah, he did push it, man. I mean, he did push that certain because he wanted to be a director. I mean, I think he even said that in his interviews that he wanted to get into movies and all that stuff. And I think that's definitely what they were leaning towards, that cinematic type. What's it called? Click action stuff. Like you press a button. When something's gonna happen. There were some games like that. I think there was
Like QuickTime shit.
QuickTime. Yeah, that shit. There was a game I think it was called Velocity or some shit. They had that. A lot of it had a lot of QuickTime stuff. I mean, it's pretty to look at, but it's not gameplay.
It's not, man. It's not. You're watching a movie, man. You're playing a movie. I remember people would joke about Metal Gear was the greatest movie they ever played. Listen to that. Listen to what I'm saying. The greatest movie they ever played. It's not a fucking game, bro.
Remember, they're online. They wasn't that popular. It had its niche, but it wasn't like like hardcore.
It was a disaster, bro. There are too many cheaters and all that shit, bro.
Yeah, same thing with the last Metal Gear. Did the same thing too. The one with the mother base and all that stuff. I mean, it was. I tried it. I tried to uh, enjoy it, but then it just became too repetitive. And I mean, there was way to cheat, and then everybody was doing it, so then you had to do it too in order if you wanted to advance. So it kind of became boring. So
Yeah. So that's the thing with Sony. They never had anything for it, man. Never. Everything that they tried failed, and it failed bad. Failed. SOCOM failed. Killzone failed. Resistance failed. The Last of Us, the online was still there. They released The Last of Us 2, and they released Last of Us 2 without multiplayer. That shit came out fucking what, 2, 3 years ago? And they still haven't released the multiplayer for it? What are we talking about right now? Like, what are you guys saying? And then they're like, oh, well, Uncharted Online is great. Yeah, let me tell you something, bro. If you think Uncharted 4 Online is fucking good, slap yourself. Because that shit is trash. Trash, bro. Trash. Show me somebody playing that shit right now. Show me the player count. It's garbage, bro. It's garbage. Sony never really hit that. They never got that one game that they needed. At Microsoft, now they have two, Halo, and now they have Call of Duty. They don't have it, bro. They don't have it. They don't. And like what Radiance right here is saying, if it was good, why didn't they make standalone Uncharted multiplayer? Exactly, because it was never good, bro. It was never good. Why don't they make it free to play, bro? If it's so fucking great and popular, why don't they make it free to play? Because it's not fucking good, bro. It's not gonna compete. Same thing with The Last of Us, man. It ain't gonna compete. You really think you're gonna take people away from Call of Duty, from fucking NBA 2K, from Halo to play The Last of Us multiplayer, bro? Really? Come on, man. What drugs are you on, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about right now? That's not happening, bro. That is not happening. But anyway, let's continue because I'm out. If I keep going, I'm just gonna fucking crush Sony's dreams. So let's continue. All right, so Sony issues statement about Microsoft, Activision, Blizzard purchase, and Xbox exclusivity. Sony has commented on the massive news that Microsoft has bought Activision Blizzard for nearly 70 billion, and it's not exactly congratulatory. Speaking to the Wall Street Journal, Sony had this to say about Microsoft's responsibility to honor Activision's existing contracts. We expect that Microsoft will abide by contractual agreements and continue to ensure Activision games are multi-platform. This is a veiled threat. If I've never seen a veiled threat before, that's a veiled threat. What do you think, Seth?
what? What about the statement?
Yeah,
Mm, Again, I think I'll give a little tiny dot for Sony. I think if they don't have a if they don't really have a plan, because see that's the thing. We have I don't think I don't know if you checked the if that report that they have for stocks and like what Sony's gonna do. Usually that sometimes they'll post it up there and say like, oh well, we think we're gonna do this. So I really didn't look into that, but I don't know. I think if they have a plan, then I can see it being a threat and they're gonna get bent over. But until we see like Sony's whatever card they have left, then if they don't have anything, then yeah, I would definitely say I don't even think it's a threat. It's just gonna get owned.
yeah,
They're already owned, I guess. They
they
already
got owned.
have it. They
They got
got
owned
owned,
pretty
right?
bad. And
Right. They
listen,
got
I'm gonna put something on the screen because this is something that I also was shown by my friend Post Up. This is something that he's found on Reset Era, and this is a really, really good example of all the things that have happened that explains so much and why we see what we see now. I'm gonna read it to you guys. It's hardly just a couple of money hats, though. Sony have been signing exclusivity deals relentlessly all last generation, and they've done them largely unanswered as a result of both Xbox having a weaker market position, making it cheaper for them to do, but also because the practice of signing them is widely accepted for them, but not from Microsoft. There's a reason why something like Final Fantasy sells so disproportionately of PlayStation. It's because these exclusivity deals reinforce, or in some cases disrupt, audiences on a given platform. And as time goes on, that becomes more difficult to undo. Sony's had Final Fantasy in the corner for a long time now, going back to Final Fantasy VII. But the series did eventually come to Xbox day and date, beginning with Final Fantasy XIII, and was starting to cultivate an audience within that ecosystem that had a desire to play JRPGs. That Final Fantasy VII remake got money hatted for what is still an uncertain length of time in regards to Xbox. Isn't a random coincidence. This type of money hat is a precisely targeted one to cause an entire genre of game not being viable on the platform. There are some IP that within their sphere carry so much weight that they can cause ripple effects across the genre. Sony's Street Fighter V money hat effectively buried the entire fighter genre on Xbox because nobody invested in that genre was going to opt for a console that lacked Street Fighter. And as a result, other titles that were it, or at least I'm not aware of being, money hats would start to skip the console also. Because nobody that's invested in that genre is opting for that console, why should the smaller, more niche IP target that console either, right? And those are games like Blaze Blue, games like Guilty Gear, games like what's this game? Melty Blood, Arc System, Arc System Work fighting games, which are really popular and very niche. So yes, timed exclusives very much can be used to push a competing platform out of the market. And Sony was routinely targeting games that would be the most crippling across the spectrum, whether that be Final Fantasy and possibly Persona in the JRPG space, Street Fighter in the fighting game space, the year or two long exclusive content deals for Destiny, and the exclusive map content for Call of Duty in the first person shooter space, etc. The goal was to make it so Xbox as a platform wasn't a viable choice for the majority of the market. And quite frankly, it was working and working well. Hence the situation in 2016, where Microsoft bowing out of the market entirely was a very real possibility. When that didn't occur, Sony looked to land killer blows right away at the start of this generation. Hence the announcement of Final Fantasy XVI's timed exclusivity ahead of the consoles being released, and murmurs of a whole slew of others to be revealed in time. And the general response here was just that it was a foregone conclusion that PS5 would just continue to build on PS4's momentum largely unimpeded. And considering the shit Microsoft took back in 2015 when they dared to land a single comparable exclusivity deal with Rise of the Tomb Raider, that avenue of retaliation was clearly not available to them. Look how quick the clarification of the duration of exclusivities for Rise of the Tomb Raider was forced out of Microsoft's and Square Enix's. And then contrast that with Crash and Insane Trilogy, Nier Automata, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and Knights of the Old Republic Remake, or any of countless other deals where their eventual Xbox release was happily left vague as hell. That's how we're here today. Because Microsoft were either going to commit fully and land some truly heavy blows that made a real difference to their current land space, or they were inevitably going to see their platform marginalized to the point where they had to drop out. If people didn't want to see the level of escalation we're seeing now today, well, they shouldn't have been so comfortable commending the ever increasing frequency and severity of Sony deals was making to cripple their primary competition. Final Fantasy sells 80% of PlayStation and 80% plus on PlayStation anyway, so they may as well. And by extension, of course, it makes sense for Game X to skip Xbox because the audience is all on PlayStation. Well, congrats. Now they won't all be. The rampant desire for the glory days of PS2 era domination has led us here, and so cries about how unfair it is ring hollow. And that's very true. Whoever wrote that, kudos to you. That was amazing what that guy wrote because he broke it down, and it's true. All of these deals, I remember they had remember Destiny was supposed to be a 10-year game. I remember they had exclusive rights to
Yep.
Destiny for 10 years. For 10 years, right? Final Fantasy, right? The fighting games. What Sony was doing was basically using those third parties, right? And having them sort of do their dirty work. Like, you know what? You don't want to go over there. You're not gonna make money. You come here, come home. and I got you. You know, I got you. Don't worry about these guys, man. Ain't got, yo, I got everybody here, bro. Come to this party. Don't worry about what they're doing over there, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's what they did, and those other companies followed suit because they're trying to make money, right? And yeah, they did marginalize all those other people on Xbox, right? To the point where it made no sense to really make those sort of games on Xbox because you weren't going to be able to compete with what Sony had on their platform. But nobody said anything about it. Nobody complained about it. I guess because, you know, out of the previous console wars, Sony came out on top. And back then, it was not just Sony, it was Sony, Nintendo, and Sega. Nintendo's still around, right? But they don't get the sort of publicity that PlayStation gets now, right? And so what do? They they got in their ear, they whispered in their ear like, "Yo, come on this side. The party's on this side." Yeah, those guys got a party and they got money too, but they don't do it like we do. That's what happened, and nobody said a fucking word, right? And now this shit happens, and now they're crying wolf. And like Radiant says, especially the Japanese companies, they're very nationalistic. Yeah, those guys will back each other up all the time. Because they have that one thing in common, man. They're countrymen, of course. You don't even have to ask. Why do you even ask? Of course you're gonna. I'm gonna say yes. It's like unwritten. But guess what? Those games don't push numbers like they used to. Those games don't move consoles like they used to. You know what does? An American centric Call of Duty does. That's what does. An American centric NBA 2K does. An American centric Madden does. Those are the console movers. So yeah, if you guys want to play that nationalistic role and your countryman role, you do that now. And let's see how people will feel if Microsoft takes that route and goes up to EA, goes up to Take Two and says, "Yo, we're American, yo. These guys don't like us Westerners. Why don't we get together and do something on our own? Fuck these guys. We don't need them." You'll see how fast PlayStation dies if that happens. What do you think? What do you think, Seth?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think something like that could happen. Kind of like I mentioned earlier, like what if Nintendo and PlayStation they got together? Kind of like the article I told you that I was trying to look for. I couldn't really find it because it was kind of old.
They kind of would have to.
And then the only strategy would be is Nintendo is notorious for gimmicks. That's their thing. That's always been their thing. I mean, from way back, from like their custom controller garbage to boxes or whatever, right? Or those whatever. They're kings of gimmicks. So that'd be the only thing they will have left. I mean, Final Fantasy, like that's something that I played that religiously. I think I told you like my memory card, the only number you saw on the memory card was 09s. Even the time was set to 999. It didn't move no more. And I don't know. I mean, like this remake, I thought it looked nice, but I just couldn't get too into it. I ended it, I beat it. I got all the stupid summons, but it just didn't feel the same. Maybe I grew out of it. I don't know, but
right.
I think that if that's the only thing that Sony has, I mean, well, they might have Armor Core, and that's even a tinier group. Because I heard there was rumors saying that a new Armor Core is being developed, but bro, I think it's too late.
Armor Core is super niche.
Yeah, too late. And think even Nintendo did it. Like the developers from Armor Core, they went to Nintendo to do their Demon. What's that stupid X Mechaca or Manica?
Ex Machinica or something like that. Yeah.
Machinica. Yeah, that shit. And that shit is kind of like, I played it. I was like, oh man, I don't know if I really feel it, but. I really don't. The only way I can see PlayStation doing something new is that they bring some other players into their playing field. But those who are remaining, they might not want to play with them, or might not want to follow, like you said, the Japanese rules, because it's all about their culture and what they do. It always gets very, very tricky. I noticed that because they always have like kind of like it's kind of like you take for I mean a good example is that what's that Kuroshima game, the last one, the Death Stranding, right?
Oh, that
Right?
trash! Jesus
Yeah. So,
Christ!
so take Death Stranding, that aspect, and then people praise it, because it's like all nice looking and stuff, or maybe they like the story, whatever it is, right? But you can definitely see the different, like the mindset of the person, the people making this game versus Western game. It becomes that double edge, And I think that if PlayStation wants to stay afloat, they will have to fuse. They'll have to fuse, with some. They'll have to do the fusion dance like in Dragon Ball Z and fuse with somebody else and get something done. That'd be the only way possible, I think. I don't think there's any developer, like, even if they took EA hypothetically, I don't think it's gonna do anything.
Nah.
Like,
You know why I
if
don't
it,
think EA would do it, because EA already has that deal with Xbox that if you have
right.
Xbox Game Pass, you also get EA Play.
Right. So, I mean, the only people that they'll have left, it would be, what we talked earlier about. So, but then again, if they do go with that route, the only thing Nintendo has is their classic games that which they remaster. Like, Mario's been, I don't know how many Mario's we have now,
And let me
but I
tell you,
mean, and the gimmicks.
Square Enix wouldn't be enough for Sony, because how many years have to pass by before you get a new Final Fantasy game, bro?
They also make Dark Souls. I think they do, don't they?
No, that's fucking from
Oh
Soft.
no, that's from Soft. Yeah, that's Armor Core people. Okay, never
So
mind that. Yeah.
yeah, they have the Final Fantasy 14, which is a big multiplayer, and that's fine and dandy. But that's not gonna be enough, bro. It's not.
Man, they're gonna have high five with Nintendo, man. They're gonna say let's join forces. We're gonna have Metro on PlayStation.
It could happen. It could
Metro
happen.
Dread Metro Dread was pretty good. I did enjoy it. That was kind of cool.
It could happen. I'm not gonna sit here and say it can't happen. They are countrymen, and I do understand that. It could happen. But getting back to what we were talking about, Phil Spencer, right? He said, "I'll just say to players out there who are playing Activision Blizzard games on Sony's platform, it's not our intent to pull communities away from that platform, and we remain committed to that." He did say it was his desire to keep them on there. Now, when he said that, let me see if I can get the actual quote, because I don't want to misquote this, right? He said that it was their desire, right, to keep those games there, right? Let me see, where is it? Here it is. He said, and I quote, "Had good calls this week with leaders at Sony. I confirmed our intent to honor all existing agreements upon acquisition of Activision Blizzard and our desire to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. Sony is an important part of our industry and we value our relationship." Okay. And our desire to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. You need to really listen to what he's saying. Him saying that it's our desire to keep it on there means that we as a business intend to allow you to use this title on your platform. But once these contracts end, in order for that desire to come a reality, you're going to have to work with us, and you're going to have to abide by certain terms that we want you to fulfill, right? Whether it's allowing Game Pass on your platform, or giving us a certain cut out of all sales. That just means that we're willing to do our part. That's what it means. We're willing to do our part when it comes to this. We just hope that Sony meets us halfway and does theirs. That's what he's saying. Because you can say, yeah, it's my desire to do that, but it's not solely upon me, right? It's not just up to me to do that. That's what he's trying to say. It is my desire to make this a reality, but I can't make it a reality unless someone else also does their part to make it and to bring it to fruition. That's what that means. Basically, he's saying, yeah, we're absolutely open to that opportunity, to that possibility, but we can't force this upon them. They have to allow us to do this. They have to work with us. They have to do their part as well. They can't try to hardball us because it hurts them more than it hurts us. We own this. We don't care if it doesn't sell 30 million copies. We're fucking Microsoft, bro.
Hey, I just thought of something, man. Didn't Rockstar have some sort of thing with PlayStation that's if their stuff came out a little bit earlier than Xbox for any chance?
Well,
Or am I?
I know they have that shit with Grand Theft Auto Online, right? Where certain things are
Yeah.
available on PlayStation first, and then if you play every year or every month, at least once a month, you get a million GTA cash.
So maybe they might do something with PlayStation. Maybe Sony would try to acquire crazy ass Rockstar, but I think Rockstar is having their own personal issues as well, if I'm not mistaken,
Oh
with the
yeah,
toxicity. But it's not that big though. It's not like not getting a lot of press for whatever reason. But I think they also fall into the same little loop. So who knows? Maybe Sony would take an advantage of that and jump on them. And even though Red Dead Redemption Online is pretty much dead.
yeah,
So.
and with crunch and things like that, absolutely. And that's a thing, like people need to really listen to what this guy's saying. It's our desire. What did he say? I'll read it again. He said, "And our desire to keep it on PlayStation. We want this to still be there, but once this contract ends, we will have a new contract put together, and you're gonna need to abide to these terms in order for you to still do this. We don't have to bend the knee. We own this already. You understand? If I own something and I'm going to go ahead and offer it to you as a lease, so to speak, I don't have to bend the knee. You do. You have to do that. It's not up to me anymore. Salute to the new sub. I just saw you subscribe. Guys, if you can, hit that like button, subscribe. I really appreciate it. Seth would too as well. But like I said, this isn't up to Microsoft to bend the knee anymore. Salute D. Salute to the homie damn D. But it's not up to Microsoft to bend the knee. I own it. Like, what do you mean? You understand what I'm saying? Like, I own this already. If you want this on your platform when the contract ends, you're gonna have to abide by these rules. And the thing with Sony is very egotistical, right? Look what they did with the PS3. Look how they started this generation now. They're gonna try to play hardball, and if they try to play hardball, they're going to swing and miss. I'm telling you this right now. They're going to swing and miss because they're not in a position of leverage anymore. You cannot play hardball with me if you're not at the position of leverage anymore. If I own the IP that sells more copies than anything you put out ever, okay? God of War may sell 30 million copies, but guess what? God of War only comes out once every 4 years. Call of Duty comes out every year. How many copies does it sell on your platform? What are you talking about right now? That's sustainability. You're not going to depend on one title every 4 years to be sustainable. That's stupid. It doesn't work that way. You understand? So I'm telling you guys, Sony is not in a position to play hardball. They have no leverage here. And what Phil Spencer is saying, that it's our desire to keep it on PlayStation, is saying we'll be more than glad to put this game on PlayStation, but under our terms, right? We're not bending the knee for you guys. You guys need to bend the knee. You guys, we don't have to reach you halfway or come to you halfway. You have to come to us and abide by what we want, right? Because that's like going to somebody's house wanting to rent, and the guy's putting up the shit for rent for say $1,000, and you're gonna try to tell him, nah, I'm doing 600. You gotta take it. I'm like, why? Oh, you gotta take it because I'm a lawyer. What do you mean? What the fuck's I gotta do anything, bro? I said 1,000. 1,000 is 1,000. That's it. Right? What do you think?
Honestly, I don't know, man. I really don't have any thoughts about it. I think that pretty much covered most of the stuff that but I really I really have no thoughts about this part. Kind of like
It's true
brain dead.
though. It's true. They have no leverage though. Sony has no leverage in a deal like that.
Right, right. I mean, in the end of the day, they're gonna have to just, like you said, abide with what Xbox or whatever has to say because they own it. So there's
Yeah.
no. It's kind of like when you rent, when you rent an apartment building, you have to kind of abide with the landlord. Can't gotta throw your trash out. You can't leave it there.
Yeah, yeah. You can't try to twist my arm, bro. I'm the one that fucking does the twisting here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
Like it don't work that way.
yeah, it's definitely there's no scenario good right now. Like I was telling you guys, there's not. We don't know Sony's cards, and like again, like if they even have any
They
at
don't.
this point. So, so in the end of the day, we just they're probably gonna write it out, or maybe maybe who knows, man. Maybe the next week we're gonna have their usually what's usually the trend of the president of the company resigns and the vice president resigns and the
Yeah. Everybody
resign.
starts fucking running like fucking cockroaches.
Yep, early retirement for everybody. Oh, why did he resign? Early retirement. Oh, well, that's it. That's interesting. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. You know. So I could see that if that happens next week, it starts making sense that they're getting ready. The rats are jumping the ship.
Yeah, check this out. I'm gonna put a graphic on the screen actually. So video games, who owns what? So as you see here, we have Tencent, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, Take Two, EA, Sega, Valve, Ubisoft, Capcom, CD Projekt Red, Avalanche, Konami, Square Enix, Embracer, Thunderful, Bandai Namco, Warner Brothers, Kadokawa, and then Indies down here. So this is the whole scheme right here. This is the fucking map, right? If you look at it right now, just off of face value, the real hitters, if you ask me, are on Tencent and Microsoft. Because Riot Games and Epic, that's huge. Epic makes a fucking engine. So any game that uses Unreal Engine 5 or whatever that sells over 1 million copies has to pay royalties, right? That's the rule if I'm not mistaken. So that's big because both, you know, third party games on Sony and Microsoft use Epic, right? They use Unreal. So that's really big. Sony, a lot of first party studios, man, but nobody's dependent on any of their engines or anything like that. And then you have Microsoft with all these heavy hitters over here, and two of them, Activision and Blizzard, are cross platform. What do you think of that, bro? How do you see that? Do you see that like the same as well? Do you think that the heavy hitters here on this graphic are Tencent and Microsoft or what?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you mentioned earlier, I mean, I see Epic hanging out there. Riot is chilling right there on Tencent. For Microsoft, I mean, hell, they even I even forgot about Rare. Remember Rare,
Mm-hmm.
Donkey Kong, Killer Instinct, and all that shit. So yeah, I mean, definitely they have more winners on the Microsoft side versus Sony. I mean, Sony, most of these they haven't even utilized it in forever.
Yeah,
Yeah, like Gorilla, that's gone. Well, it's not gone, but they haven't produced anything in a
yeah. They
while.
only have one game, Horizon.
Horizon, yeah,
That's it.
that's it. And then it's kind of that's also kind of like a niche game as well. I mean, it has its base, but it's not a lot of people. I don't think so, because I don't hear like people like trending about it or posting on Twitter like, oh, look at this. They do take. The only thing I see maybe once in a blue moon, like some pretty picture, I guess, like of
Mm-hmm.
the surrounding, I guess, but that's it.
Yeah, and then you have like Sony with Little Big Planet right here, right? This developer, and they didn't even release Little Big Planet in PS4 era, bro. And that was your number one seller in PS3. That was the number one. Nothing. And then you have Japan Studio, right? Which they took away from. Remember, it was from software with Demon Souls. But that's it, bro. Like it ain't doing it, bro. The only things there that might do anything is Insomniac and Naughty Dog. And Uncharted is pretty much a dead franchise now because the story is over unless they try to, make a new story with I don't know who the fuck or maybe just bring a new character, but that shit's gonna get boring after a while, you know? And
Okay.
Insomniac, you just have Spider Man and Ratchet and Clank. That's about it.
think for Uncharted, didn't he have his daughter now or something?
I don't fucking know, bro. Who
Yeah,
cares?
CD Projekt is useless. I mean, they dropped the ball with their Cyberpunk garbage.
Oh yeah.
Mm,
Konami doesn't even make games anymore, bro. They fucking make pinball machines.
Doesn't Bandai make all those Japanese Dragon Ball games, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken?
Bandai does that. Yeah, the DBZ games and shit. They do also the Power Rangers fighting game.
Ranger Fighter game. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple that I guess can jump on PlayStation if they have the money, but they don't. So
They have the money, but they don't have the money to buy. Like they can buy Take Two, for example. Actually, I'm gonna show you a graphic in a little bit. Let me just get to the end of this because we're almost done here, guys. We've been here for almost 2 hours. I'm just gonna put one more graphic on the screen since we're showing graphics, and then we'll just continue. So these are all the different projects for Xbox, right? There's 30 plus studios and there's 50 projects. My boy Damn D says PlayStation needs Metal Gear back. I don't know, man. Metal Gear, I love Metal Gear. Don't get me wrong. But Metal Gear just being on PlayStation doesn't do Konami any favors at all. You know what I mean? Like Konami is at a point where, bro, they're making pinball. They're into gambling and all that other shit now. They're not into that gaming shit no more, man. Kojima fucked them up really bad, bro. Really bad. Because he was spending so much money and nothing was coming from it. So yeah, PlayStation can definitely use another Metal Gear title, but it won't be Konami. It won't be at Konami's benefit if it's only on PlayStation, unless Sony buys them, which could always, of course, happen. But if they don't, I don't see why Konami would just put it on PlayStation. That's a bad business move. You know, it's not a bad business move. It's a bad business move, man. It's just not good for them, bro. You know, only way that works is if PlayStation buys them, if Sony buys them flat out. That makes perfect sense. But if they don't, that's a bad deal. And like Radiant says here, right? Yep, Kojima ruined Konami, and yet gamers paint him as a victim. Yeah, he ruined them, bro. He ruined them because he was trying to make a fucking movie, and the game was fucking trash. He ruined them, spending all of this money, paying all of these actors, all this fucking R&D and all this bullshit. Nothing, nothing. So anyway, let's get back to this graphic real quick. So these are all the studios and all the projects. So you have 343 making Halo Infinite and an unannounced Halo project, right? These are all confirmed and rumored. All right, so look how much shit they got going on. Like, look at Activision. They got Call of Duty. Treyarch is doing Call of Duty. Infinity Ward is doing Modern Warfare 2, right? Then over here at the bottom, you have Ravensoft working on Warzone. You have Sledgehammer working on Call of Duty Vanguard and another unannounced project. You have High Moon doing Call of Duty support. You have Beanox doing Call of Duty support. You have Toys for Bob working on Crash Bandicoot and Spyro. You have Blizzard working on Diablo 4, Diablo Immortal, and Overwatch 2. Bethesda. Look at all of this shit, man. This is a lot of shit that's coming up. And remember, people used to say Xbox has no games. I mean, it looks like Xbox has all the games now. Right, Seth? What do you think?
it does. I mean, once you put this in perspective like this with this diagram, this flow chart, yeah, I mean, it looks like they have all the games coming up. I mean, like, I don't think nobody really cares about Ubisoft stuff, right? They don't care about
Bro,
that.
I hate Ubisoft. I fucking hate them. They fucking suck, bro. They fucking suck, bro. What up, Fuge? Yeah, they fucking suck, bro. Horrible. All their games are fucking broken every time they release. They're fucking trash. But if you look at that, man, it just looks like Xbox has all the games. All of them. And these are games like, yo, you could release all of these games in a matter of months. You just have everything now, bro. Their calendar is full. Full. Anyway, let's continue. We're almost at the end, guys. So let's just continue, get this on screen. Phil Spencer is eager to revisit abandoned Activision franchises, right? So he's looking to see what they do, right? And I don't know if you want to consider StarCraft an abandoned franchise. Would you consider StarCraft an abandoned franchise, bro?
It's still popular among the Chinese or Korean market still. I mean, they still play games. I don't know when the last tournament was, but I know the guy who makes their trophies for their esports. I do know because I have him on my Facebook and stuff, and he makes the trophies for these cats and also for League of Legends or these other, MOPA type games, whatever, or RTS type games. But yeah, I think for overseas, I think definitely the games are so popular. I think for some Europeans as well. I think for some couple of Russians, I think they play still. I believe, I think so. But I know most of them are the Asian communities definitely are still playing it. From what I know, I haven't played it in years. I
Yeah,
think the last one,
probably in certain niche communities it's so popular, but overall it just might be dead, right?
yeah, for the West, I think it's almost dead. Well, yeah, very very small in the West.
So yeah, so look, check out what he said. I was looking at the IP list. I mean, let's go. Spencer exclaimed. You have King's Quest, Guitar Hero. I should know this, but I think they got Hexen. Guitar Hero would move fucking units, bro. I remember when this shit was popular because I used to work at a store called FYE and they had a gaming section and I used to work there. Bro, when fucking Guitar Hero would release every year, bro, that shit would sell out, bro. It would sell out. And you can criticize it being a fucking a normie game, right? Or what's the word that they have for it? Casual. Yo, that shit moves units, bro. That's what they care about. If fucking they revive Guitar Hero next gen, see even Jim Dollar say I'd pop off for a new guitar. You see what I'm saying, bro? Like you could be the hardcore of the most hardcore gamers, bro. But you bring out a new Guitar Hero, bro, people are buying that shit, bro. They're fucking buying that shit. You know what I mean? So like now, yo, bro, imagine if they bring back Guitar Hero and they have fucking Call of Duty still putting up numbers, bro.
Yeah, because I remember it was very popular. I mean, I think they even have some exclusive guitars, right? Controller guitars.
Bro,
You
that
know,
shit was crazy, bro.
pulling money for sure.
It was fucking insane. I remember, man. That shit would sell out, fucking sell out. So like that's just one of many titles they have, right? So like they're considering that. No doubt about it. Make no mistake. No mistake. So here we go. Look at this graphic right here. So the top, what was it? What did it say? It said the 13 biggest franchises Microsoft will own after the Xbox Activision deal. So Call of Duty, Warcraft, Diablo, fucking Overwatch, StarCraft, Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk was good. I liked it. The remaster was pretty good. It's not as popular as it once was, but it's cool. Spyro, I remember when Spyro was cool, way back in the day. But it's a good kiddie game. It's not bad. Skylanders, I'm not interested. Hearthstone, a lot of people like this shit. They love, right? Isn't this pretty popular, bro, on PC?
Yeah, it's also because it's free. I think I believe it's free to play as well, so it's easy. Anybody can just download and play it.
Yeah. Hearthstone, Guitar Hero, of course, Crash, Candy Crush. Candy Crush is so pretty fucking popular. I can't believe it, bro. And this is the number one seller too. This is the number one moneymaker, I think, for Activision. It's fucking Candy Crush. It's not fucking Warcraft. It's none of that shit. It's fucking Candy Crush and Geometry Wars. So yeah, they got a lot of stuff. Like even these guys, even the guys in the chat, like, yo, man, if they put out a fucking Taylor Swift edition of Guitar Hero, they'll fucking buy it, bro. Just fucking get it done, I guess, right? Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, yo, bro, like they got too much shit going on, bro. Way too much. And to close it off, this is gonna be the last tab we're gonna work on, and this is from Jeff Keighley. I'm not a big fan of Jeff Keighley personally because I think um, he's too much of a fanboy sometimes. He shows his favoritism too much, which kind of I think affects his judgment. But this is what he put. He wrote, "If you are wondering about the other big game companies that could be acquired, here's who remains." So EA is at 38 billion. That's fucking pennies to Microsoft. Take Two is 18 billion. Nexon is 15. Bandai Namco 15. Embracer 10. Netmarble 7. Ubisoft 7. Konami 6. Square Enix 5.6. Capcom 4.9. Sega 3.6. Based on the numbers you see and knowing how much Sony has available, which one do you see Sony potentially trying to buy? Seth, what do you think?
Hmm. the first thing that came to mind is the sound of Sega. Remember the old school Sega? Sega.
Sega. Yeah, of course.
You can see Sega. I mean, yeah, that'd be the first one. Then after that, following Capcom, I guess.
You think that's probably about it, right? Out of all of those, they could probably just buy 2 or 3.
Well, you got to keep it safe, right? Because again, they have to watch out for that material costs and stuff. Because material stuff like plastics and all the other junk is still pretty hard to get or to manufacture it. You know,
Well, yeah.
um, so they have to balance that crap out.
Yeah, because they can't just go on a fucking spending spree and then, watch their games flop, right?
Right. Yeah,
Because
I was trying to think of a game that they did that they just bit them in the butt real hard, and they were pushing it. I think wasn't it that Metal Gear Zombie one that they were pushing it pretty hard, but nobody played it because it sucked.
Mhm.
They probably lost a lot of money doing that crap.
Mhm. Yeah. So that's the thing, right? So like, yeah, that's fine. They can go ahead and buy all these other ones, but okay, cool. What do you do? What do you do now that you own them, right? But they don't sell, right? What happens next? Or how long is it going to take for you to get a good return on your investment? You know what I mean? Like, if all right, say say Sony buys Square Enix for 5.6, right? Do you think the next Final Fantasy game when it releases is going to give you 5.6 in revenue? No, it's not. Plus, that doesn't include what you have to spend in development, what you have to spend in, infrastructure and, having employees. Yeah, it's going to cost a little more than that, right? Because that's just to obtain the company. That's not keeping the company afloat. That costs more money too, right? So it would take a while for them to recover from that. And Sony isn't really in a position to take, risks like that, right? Maybe not even Capcom, maybe Sega would be the safest one to do, right? Because, yeah, they have a new Sonic movie coming out soon, but it's the lowest there. And like I said, you have to keep in mind you have to pay to keep the lights on too, right? You have to pay these people.
Well, Capcom would be pretty good because they have the fighting games, and I mean they have the Resident Evil stuff. I mean, wasn't there even talk they were going to bring back Parasite Eve or something or
But Parasite
some?
was Square, I think.
Oh, was it
Yeah,
Square?
it was
Oh,
Square. It was Square. But that
who
would
am I
be
thinking?
big. That would be a big look, though, right? Resident Evil on exclusive to
Yeah,
Sony.
yeah. I mean, I can see them doing that. A Suicide would be Ubisoft again.
But
Out of all,
but this is the thing, though. Remember, Resident Evil was exclusive to Sony, and they decided to go multi-plat because they weren't making money. But if Resident Evil goes to Sony, what's going to happen to Sony? Are they going to be making money, or are they going to be in the same position Capcom was in at one point, where it was just exclusive to them and they still weren't making money?
right?
Right? What do you
Mm,
think? I think that makes a lot of sense because that's why Capcom decided to put Resident Evil multi-plat, starting with Resident Evil 2 on 64, because it wasn't cutting it, bro. So they decided to do that, kill the exclusivity deal, right? And ever since then, it's been on multiple platforms, right? So if Sony goes that route and just leaves it exclusive, are they in the same position Capcom was at one point?
mm,
I think so.
yeah. Yep.
I think so. But then they could always license it out to other platforms and make money from them, which is fine if you want to do that. I don't know. I think
Right.
I. What do you think out of the list? So you think Sega would be the one Sony would probably want to buy?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I forgot about the Sonic movie too. So yeah, I mean they have a movie coming in. It's going to bring younger audience to their system. To their game plan. So I can see them pushing that, getting a Sega stuff. And I think there were some games for Sega that I believe were supposed to get remastered as well. I can't remember. It starts with a V, one of them, and it was like a fast-paced third-person shooter. I don't know if it got done, but I think Sega will definitely bring something a little bit. but it won't be like humongous, like a big game changer or anything like that. But
Hmm.
I think Sega will be the safest route.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. I could also see Capcom being something like that, but it wouldn't be beneficial to Sony to just keep Resident Evil exclusive because that's the same thing that hurt Capcom, keeping it exclusive. That's why they decided to just go multi-plat, right? So I don't think that's a good idea for them. Square Enix maybe too, but now you're pushing it. Now you're pushing it because you don't get Final Fantasy games all too often. You really don't. For Microsoft, I think the most if Microsoft can get Capcom though, that would be fucking huge. That would be huge. If I'm Microsoft, I would try to finagle my way to get Capcom if I can.
Yeah, because then they'll have Killer Instinct and Street Fighter.
Yeah, or even Warner Brothers to get NetherRealm. If they can get that, I would try to finagle my way to get Capcom or Bandai Namco. One of those two. Forget the rest, and then try to take Two or EA.
Yeah, increase their fighting game portfolio, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Either Capcom or Namco, Bandai Namco, and then EA or Take Two. Either one doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That's what I would do. But I don't know. But like somebody wrote here in the comments, all companies only Xbox could afford. Xbox, Microsoft could buy all of these tomorrow if they wanted to, but they can't because then that would make them a monopoly. So they can't do that. So they have to pick and choose. If I were to pick and choose, either Capcom or Namco for fighting games, and either EA or Take Two for sports games, right? You don't really need EA because you already have Activision for Call of Duty, and EA only has FIFA. They have FIFA, which is huge, and they have Madden, which is huge. But I don't think EA would want to be sold, so I would probably scratch that. Take Two has GTA and it has NBA 2K. I would Take Two, and like I said, either between Namco and Capcom. That's what I would do. That would be on my list. If I'm Phil Spencer and if I'm the CEO of Microsoft, I can't remember his name right now. That's the play I make. Capcom or Namco, Take Two or EA. But EA probably would be off the table. I don't think they want to be sold, so I would go for Take Two. What do you think, bro?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it'd be cool if they actually can get the NetherRealm one from Warner Brothers, but I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers gonna be super hard.
Yeah,
Uh,
because Warner
but yeah,
Brothers doesn't want to sell the IPs. They'll sell the studio, but they won't sell the IP.
mhm.
So
So yeah,
that's some good. What do you agree?
I agree. Yeah, I would have said the same thing.
I don't know, bro. We'll see. We'll have to see, man. We'll see if it happens. I think, to start off the year, I think before before holiday season this year, we may see another development on this front. I think before the holiday season, we'll see another company fall. Not fall in that aspect, but fall in the sense that somebody is going to acquire them. That's what I think. Whether it's Sony or it's Microsoft, I don't know. But I think before the holiday season, we'll get some news again. This is far from over, man. What do you think? You think we'll get another report or something this year, or maybe next year?
Mm. I can see something this year probably because they have to please their shareholders, man. I
Right.
think they're not on thin ice yet, but I think they have to please their audience. Their people that they still kind of support them, and their fans, I guess, right? So they're gonna try to do something. Like I said, I don't know exactly what it's gonna be or whatever, but it would it be drastic, man? If they go drastic and they lose everything, and they go big or go home type deal, that'd be really weird. It's not really. I don't think I ever seen Sony do that. Like ever with anything. Well, no, that's wrong because they did do that with that last Metal Gear game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, if I don't know, I say close to holidays, right? Usually, I'll say near to September. because usually that's when all the techie stuff comes out, all the cool stuff, new games. Or usually it's around the month of September or close to September. So we'll probably hear something from there then. I don't think it's gonna be anything soon. I think right now they're just digesting it, trying to feel it out. But I think we'll probably hear something around September.
And I
That's
think
what I
the
think.
fiscal year is about to end too, right? I think probably around March, April, it's going to end, right? So this is all part of fiscal year 2021, right? So once the new fiscal year comes into effect, you're going to see something for sure. Because this definitely affects, because the fiscal year hasn't ended yet. So this is going to affect that. This acquisition is a part of that, not a part of the upcoming one. So yeah, I agree. I think we'll see something soon, but that's gonna be do it. That's gonna do it all for tonight, right? We've gone over what we had to gone over, and it's been fun, man. What do you think, man? What's your final thoughts for this, bro?
I think it was a good call. Kind of hopefully Microsoft doesn't go weird or starts messing stuff up. I think I think you mentioned it right. It'll take effect in a year, so whatever plans that was forecast for this year, they're gonna happen, and then the following year, that's probably when we start seeing some changes or some new things going on. Um, I was gonna say earlier about Diablo. I think I wouldn't hold my breath with Diablo 2. I think Diablo 2 was mainly just more of a system test, I think,
Mm-hmm.
like to run that engine that they were running on, the one we saw, in Diablo 2 now, for Diablo 4. Because if I'm not mistaken, I believe it is the same one. I think it is, and I'm pretty sure that Microsoft is going to start cutting the fat, and starts, basically being lean. Um, and try to like optimize all this stuff that was that has been in you know not changing how long. uh I don't know what's gonna happen to World of Warcraft. um I don't know what can happen unless they're gonna adapt the new one that they're working on, but I can see Xbox doing definitely some big changes. I think people are gonna hate on it. It's gonna be 50-50. There's gonna be 50% people hating it, and the other 50 would just say it's good. It's progress. We're
Mm-hmm.
moving forward. Regarding PlayStation, I think for that we just have to wait. Just gotta wait and see what kind of rabbit or whatever they're gonna pull out of the hat. It's hard to say right now because we don't know the inside stuff. But I'm pretty sure that we'll get some leaks. Something will pop up. Somebody will leak something.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. I think a move is evident. I don't think it's gonna be as seismic as it was with Microsoft, but I think a move on Sony's behalf is evident. I think Sony needs to do something on the multiplayer aspect, though. They don't need more single player games, bro. They really don't. Because focusing on single player games has put them in this position that they're in.
Yeah, that's
And
Nintendo.
and that's Nintendo's niche.
Right, single player.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what they do. And it works for them because they have Mario, bro. They have Zelda. You know? That's all they need. And they have the innovation that they have, right? With the Wii, starting with the Wii, right? And now with the Switch, right? So Nintendo is on a league of its own, really. But Sony is in a really tough position because either they get with the times and focus on multiplayer titles, or they're gonna have to go the route of Nintendo and not be niche per se, but take that route in terms of innovation and how you play, right? Because if they're trying to compete in the home console market against Microsoft, that's a losing battle. They're gonna have to go the route of Nintendo and try to innovate and innovate with hardware, right? With portability and things like that. Because, like I said, battling Microsoft in the home entertainment market, it's not gonna work, bro. I don't see it happening. I don't. I don't. That's just my opinion, though. All right, so Seth, thank you so much for being here with me, for taking some time out of your day to be on the show. Any last things you want to say?
No, no, I'm good, man. Thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate it. I'm glad to be here interacting and chilling. Thanks.
For sure, bro. We'll be in touch. All right. All
Yep.
right.
Sounds.
All right, later, bro. So, everyone, that's going to do it for tonight's show. It's been a lot of fun. Appreciate everyone that's tuned in. Make sure you hit that like button. Go ahead and drop a comment. Drop a comment on what you've thought about the show. If you're watching it on replay, right on demand, go ahead and drop a comment. Let us know what you think. Make sure you subscribe. All subscribers count. Everything matters. We're trying to get to that 1,000, right? We're going to try to do our best this year to be as consistent as we've been the last few weeks. And so that's the goal. And yeah, that's going to do it for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you guys have a good night. Stay safe. And I'll see you soon. Once again, this has been Aliens for Gotta Be Legend. And I'm out. Peace.